Hello, Kaitlin. I guess you'd like to be called Kat. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, great.
So, thank you for joining me. This is an interview, an informal interview for our sprouting series. As you know, I've already interviewed your brother, Parker. I was in a hotel in Denver, and now I'm back in my office in Priest River, Idaho. And where are you now? You're in your house, right?
Yes, sir. I'm in South Jordan, Utah.
South Jordan, Utah. And how far away do you live from True Leaf Market?
About 15 or 20 minutes. It's in South Salt Lake or in Salt Lake.
Okay, well, when I interviewed your brother, he talked basically about the company, your company, and kind of gave me a perspective on the big picture. And
Yeah.
then after we were, I don't remember if it was after the interview or during the interview, he mentioned you, and he said that you are the real sprouting enthusiast of the family.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I really want to interview you. So to tell us first, what do you do for True Leaf Market?
Absolutely, yes. So my biggest job is that I do all the seed procurement. So I work with the growers and all the people that are growing the sprouting seed and the microgreen seed, and do the contracts and make sure that the seed is going to be, high germination, clean, that sort of thing. So I arrange all those things. I go out and there's seed trials that I'll go to and make sure everything's looking okay and that type of thing. That's the biggest job I do. I also do a little bit of the human resources and customers, oversee customer service issue type things and whatnot. But yeah, just kind of a
Sounds
little bit of everything outside
yeah,
of that.
sounds like a busy job
Yeah, it's
and
pretty fun.
probably a fun job as well.
It's very fun. Yes, I love it. It's
Yeah,
shopping. I love shopping. So
sure.
shopping
Yeah,
is
but
fun.
my wife does too. Now, Parker told me that you and the two of you really helped start this company. Is that correct?
That's right. Our mother, she's a raw foodist. She's like extremely. She when we were growing up, she would feed us wheatgrass juice and sprouts and whatnot. She studied under Ann Wigmore when Ann Wigmore was still alive,
Really?
at the raw food. Yeah, and so she originally in the '90s started a little. She built a little greenhouse on the back of our house and grew wheatgrass. And I don't know if Parker already told you any of this stuff, but
No, he didn't. And I've read Ann Wigmore's
anyway, she
book,
grew the wheatgrass.
and I'll be talking about wheatgrass in the series. I'm going to demonstrate how to grow that in the microgreens section, and I grow wheatgrass too. And so, and I read that Ann Wigmore, she died in her 80s in a fire unexpectedly, but in the 80s,
Yeah,
she was traveling around the world with boundless energy because she was drinking wheatgrass juice every day.
I know. I know. It's crazy. So she was 80, and then the Sprout man, Steve Merowitz, died in a car crash. And I'm not sure how old he was, but fairly, getting up there. But we'll never know how long they would have lived. It's kind of sad because they were very healthy, both of them.
Yeah,
They
so
died.
you caught the sprouting bug from your mother, and it
Yes,
sounds like you've read different people. You've read Steve Meyerowitz, and you've read Ann Wigmore, and
absolutely.
so tell
Yeah.
me how long.
They're
So
dynamic.
how long has it been since you've been sprouting?
Well, I can tell you that my mom, she grew those wheatgrass and she did sprouts, alfalfa. She actually, before she did wheatgrass, she worked at this place called Mountain Sprouts. It was in Midway, Utah, where we lived, and they had the big combines where they would make the alfalfa sprouts, and she'd put them in the containers and stuff. So she did sprouting on the grand commercial scale, and that's what got her even into wheatgrass as doing. And she, they would deliver it to stores and stuff. And then so she started her own wheatgrass business, and then with her we developed a kit to grow your own wheatgrass, and then she took it, and then we took that online, and that's kind of where we started. And I studied business, and I studied that sort of thing, but I always sprouted all the way. And basically I was maybe 5 or 6 years old when she first started feeding me this stuff.
Really?
And I remember in fifth grade, I drank a cup of wheatgrass juice and before school. And when I got to school, in my desk, I was sitting there, and all of a sudden I just threw up. She gave me too much,
Oh
and I
no.
just threw up green. It's pretty embarrassing, but it's pretty much part of my life, the health nut thing. And she got into vegetarianism and veganism, And so I've been vegetarian since I was 11, and vegan as well most of that time. So
Wow.
she's kind of been this kind of health nut. But the sprouting, yeah, I've just been doing it off and on. I mean, it's always, you get doing it and then you'll kind of fall out of it. I can talk about that, why people fall out of it, I think. But yeah, it's pretty much a consistent thing.
Wow.
Always, we're having classes and stuff, so we've always got something going.
Yeah, that's fabulous. It's been around 40 years for me. I started when I was a teenager, but as you said,
Wow.
it's been off and on. I go through spurts, and especially
Yeah.
up in North Idaho during the winter when my garden is buried in snow, I
Yeah.
do a lot of sprouting. And I've been doing a lot of sprouting this winter, and now we're into spring, and I've got a little tray here. I'm going to show
Oh,
that.
sunflower. Yeah.
Yeah, this is sunflower. As you know what this is. I got this 10 by 10 tray from Parker. He
Oh,
sent me
cool.
a lot of things. And then I've also got another tray here. It's just
Oh,
beautiful.
yeah. Rambo. Yeah.
Yeah, purple Rambo radish.
So pretty.
So
I love that
I'm
stuff.
going to teach people how to grow these as well. Now,
Yeah.
tell me, what's your favorite sprouts?
Sunflower is actually one of my favorite, although I guess that's technically a microgreen, but sunflower I love. I'm growing some pea sprouts right here. My kids love these and I love them too. And lentils. I love lentils. They're super easy and
I know.
I love lentils. I don't know why, they're probably my favorite. But one thing that I think happens with sprouting is that you get tired of sprouts after you've had them for a couple months or whatever. You'll get tired of the different flavors. So that's why I like microgreens, to kind of, if you are getting, because sprouts often taste a lot the same when they're in their tiny little stage, but microgreens almost have like that incredible shoot, like cilantro or things like that will be a lot more flavor. But preferably I actually like sprouts a lot more, because they're easier to grow, I think, and easier to keep going.
Right. And just get into the morning and evening, rinsing and soaking, and
Yeah. And they're only a few days old, so you don't have a long time to mess it up. With microgreens and with gardens, you have to water them every day for 6 months or whatever,
weed
not that
them
long.
and weed them.
But, a garden, you have to water it all summer long to get the harvest, and it's a lot of work, and you might forget to water and lose the whole crop. And but with sprouts, at least it's only a 2-day investment or 3 days. So
Yeah. So let's see. My next question is, as I've told you before, before this interview, that this is for a course of people who, many of them have probably never sprouted before. This is brand new to them. Maybe they've wanted to sprout but didn't know what to do. So tell us something, or talk to them. What words of encouragement or words of wisdom would you give to a group of new sprouters who are in the getting started section of our membership website, and they're just looking at all this? What words of inspiration do you have?
Oh man, I would say, just kind of along those same lines, is that it's not something you can mess up very easily. It's just, you need to rinse a couple times a day, like you say, a few days in a row, and you've got it. And as long as it's not super hot in your house or something like that, it comes pretty easy. And so the risk to reward ratio is super high. It's like, I think that's why my kids love to sprout so much, is because it's just a few days that they put a little bit of attention into, and then they get their reward fairly quickly, and they love the sprouts. I'm very surprised, like over any other vegetable, they'll eat sprouts, and they'll just like kind of pick at them.
Yeah, my daughter, she's 11, and we just took a picture with this big tray, and she was plucking away.
I don't know. They love them. Kids love them.
Yeah, it won't be long until Abby will be eating more of these sunflower greens. Yeah,
they're crunchy. They're delicious. They're healthy. Another, thing that can keep you motivated is how much nutrition is in them. When a seed germinates, all the amino acids or all the proteins that are in, and starches that are in the seed, they break down into more usable. The starches go into like a simple sugar, and so your body can absorb it really fast, and it's super high energy. So it's great for taking on a hike with you, especially if you're going to be eating a lot of like dead foods. I like to call them the living foods, and it brings those simple sugars to where it gives you lots of energy. And then also all the nutrients, like the proteins that are in the seed, they break down into really like succinct amino acids that your body can just assimilate a lot easier. So for me, that's a big motivation in sprouting, is that I know that it's going to be quick nutrition. It's like some people call it a complete food or a superfood, because it's it's like everything that the seed needs to grow into a full plant and produce more seeds is contained in that seed. And so in order to germinate, I guess it does absorb some of the soil and the sunlight and whatnot, but what is needed, and so there's just tons of energy in that seed that can pass on to you.
So have you felt benefits from sprouting and juicing the wheatgrass and all the things you've been doing?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It keeps me going for sure. I honestly, like in my like my mom is probably the best example. I've kind of like, being a kid growing up with stuff, the health food stuff, I of course have the tendency to want to like have junk food and not be healthy all the time. But I know that when I do try to stick to the sprouting and I'm doing it regularly, or the wheatgrass, that I feel so much better, so much more energy. And really my mom, if you look at her, she's almost 80. I think she turns 80 next year. So she's 79, and she's born in 1940. She is just, she's healthy. She doesn't have any problems. Like,
really?
She's getting a little bit of the aches, but she doesn't have the, problems that a lot of people do her age. And it's incredible to me that, living foods really do make a difference, I think.
And you can see it in your mother. So she's 80 or almost 80, and she's still going strong.
Going strong. Yeah. She's great.
That's wonderful. So now you have how many children?
Four children.
And so sprouting is something that busy mothers with 4 kids can still work into their schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. All it takes is you put the seed in a jar, or a tray. You cover it, wake up in the morning, dump out the water, and start rinsing, and just rinse it every time you're near the sink. And that's it. And then just put it out for the kids to eat. And I don't know, it's easy. Yeah, I like it. I think it's great for moms.
Do you like, is your preference salads or sandwiches or a variety?
My favorite thing to do is an avocado, like scooped out, and then lemon juice, a bunch of like either a salad, not salad, but salad mix of sprouts, like a bunch of different, lentils, alfalfa, mung beans, all it on top of that with lemon and salt. And that's one of my favorite things to do with sprouts. Of course, it's great in wraps and things like that too. But for me, that's just a really simple meal, is like an avocado with a bunch of sprouts on top.
I'm curious, do you ever put sprouts in your like buckwheat groats, or I put rye berries sprouted, or barley, buckwheat groats, sunflower seeds, the little ones that that don't have the holes. I sprout those and I put them in my granola and my oatmeal and my cereal. And do you ever
you can put them in all of that. You can put them in bread. A lot of people, it makes the bread more digestible for them. There was a lady that told me once that that when they did wheat in the olden days, they would put it into the big sheaths, and it would sit out overnight, and in the morning dew would get on it, and the seeds would actually almost sprout a little bit. And so like the shell on the outside of the seed would, but now with all the processing, they get the wheat into the storehouse before it even ever gets that little bit of dew after it's been harvested. And so it never really has the chance to lose that. And so it makes it less digestible. And so she was saying, I don't know if this is true, but this was a good theory that I thought, like, that's why sprouted bread is so good. It adds so much more nutrition. There's like vitamin C, vitamin E, that once the seed starts to sprout, all of the things that are stored in the seed become available to your body. And so, yeah, I mean, putting it in all those things is great. Lentil soup with sprouted lentils in it is 100 times better. It's like got a little bit of a crunch, and it's really good. Yeah, I like all that. Delicious.
Well, maybe you can send me a link to some recipes, and we're going to be putting a lot on our website. And
yeah, I'll see what I can pull together for you. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, this is great. Well, any final words to new sprouters, just to encourage them that this is something they can do, they can work it into their schedule, it's not hard, whatever you want to say.
Yeah. Don't think it's hard. Just keep trying. That's what I would say. It's if you've gardened, you know that every year you're going to get something that comes up great and amazing, and you're going to love it, and then you're going to know for all eternity how to grow that thing. And it's that way with sprout. It's a little bit even easier with sprouts, I think, but you just try it, and there's no way you can go wrong. It's gonna taste good. I think that there is a little bit of worry out there. Sometimes people get worried about like sprouts keep being contaminated with like salmonella because they've heard that in the news. And that's one thing that I always like to talk about with people, just kind of address it up front. Like alfalfa, for example, that there was like years and years ago, there was a scare with like, but that was not a homegrown sprout. I don't think there's ever been a case where somebody at home has gotten contaminated from their own sprouts, because you're constantly rinsing them and stuff, and you're not introducing like irrigation water or things like that might have happened in the past with sprouts. And now the sprouting industry is incredibly careful. They have all kinds of training and everything, because most of that stuff is being introduced when they're growing it, because sprouts, they can get really hot if you're not rinsing them, then you're not cooling them down. If there's any bacteria that's introduced by water or anything like that, it could grow in the sprouts. So that's why you want to rinse it all the time. If you're at all worried, you can put a little bit of hydrogen peroxide in the water that you soak the seeds in. I'm sure you'll go through this in all your classes.
Yes, I guess what the grapeseed extract that I got from your brother.
Oh yes, that's a great one too. That kills, yeah. And really just wash your hands, that sort of thing. But really, I haven't known of a case where it's at home people are getting any kind of problems like that. It's very similar to just rinsing your vegetables, making sure that you're keeping them fresh, and you can always smell them, make sure that they smell fresh and that sort of thing. Right. I'm sure you've experienced that with.
Yeah, I do that. I'll be doing that in the series, and everything you're talking about will be demonstrating.
Good. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure people aren't worried about it.
Right. Yeah, I'm not worried too, and I tell them that they just need to do it and keep rinsing them, and the benefits are very, very good for the body.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, good.
Okay, Kat. Well, thank you very, very much for your time. And
thank you. Good luck to everybody.
May your company continue to prosper, and you're helping a lot of people by teaching them how to sprout and spreading the knowledge of seeds and microgreens. And so
people who grow things are the happiest people to be around. So it's a great job. Yeah, I love it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. And we'll sign off, and we'll keep in touch.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, sure. Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye.